All right, good morning, everybody. Welcome to TGD Today. It's Tech Talk with Al Cloyd. Thusly, have a shot. By the way, Jeff, can we call Big D in? I need to contract him to take some things off of Twitter and Facebook.
Can't take them off. They're there.
Yeah, they're embedded.
Once it's out there, it's out there.
Yeah.
All right, Al.
All right.
What are we going to talk about?
Well, you know, I tell you, I got more feedback from the Mizuno show from different individuals saying how much they enjoyed that particular show. So we got something exciting for our viewers and for our listeners. Mm-hmm. Mizuno releases their heads a little bit earlier than everybody else does, and we here have them. So first of all, we'll start out with the JPX line. Let's look at the JPX 850 and the JPX 850 Forged. So
this is watch and learn.
Okay. This is the JPX 850 right here.
You?
Yes, I'm just moving my
you go.
drink. Sorry.
This is a higher handicap club. It's got a nice thick sole. It has an undercut to it. It's got a progressive offset. It's got a fairly healthy top line to it. This particular club here is cast, so it's designed more for distance and forgiveness. So there's that bad boy.
Multi-alloy head, isn't it?
That's correct.
Okay. I like the emblem they put in the back of it. Matches Big Blue. My truck.
That's right. That's
Too
right.
dark for Big Blue.
Well, it's close.
It's close though.
Yeah, it's close.
Okay.
It's close.
And
It's a good looking head.
it's a good looking head. It's like I say, it's great for for the slightly higher handicapper.
I think mid to high is probably a good sector for that.
And it's really good for help getting the ball airborne because it has a low center of gravity. Next, this iron right here, I'll tell you, is in my opinion, an awesome iron. It's the JPX 850 Forged, and right here's a picture of that bad boy for you. This one right here is been in the lineup this is its second year with Mizuno, but it has an undercut. It has a hot face to it. This thing's got a lot going for it, but that's the JPX 850.
Al, show those two side by side.
Sure.
So you got one cast.
Show the sole first.
Yeah.
Al. Look here.
Yeah. You got one cast. You got one forged.
Yeah,
And
that's
you see how
perfect
much
right there.
wider
Yeah.
the flange is on the.
And pull Hughes. You're over
Here.
Just a little bit close. There you go. Right there. Get them both in that camera shot. There
So
you
you
go.
can see that you got more of a traditional sole here, where that one is so much wider. Thank you, George.
Yes, sir. And when you flip them over, even the top line, you can get a really good sense, of the two clubs. This one's got a lot thicker top line. It's got more offset. This one's got a thinner top line with less offset.
What I've seen, Al, is your better players, because you're going to bring it up in a minute, your better players will go with more of a blade type.
That's correct.
In the short irons, like a wedge, 9, 8, 7. But then normally when they get to the 6 and the 5, and then they go up to a 4 and a 3, whatever, they're going to go with this forged cavity to give them more kick, more flight.
Yeah.
Better feel.
So they'll
not quite as hard.
They'll mix the bag.
Yeah, I'm starting to see that now through different manufacturers. A gentleman came in the shop yesterday with a set of irons, and the 4, the 5, the 6, and the 7 iron were cast, and the 8, the 9, and the pitching wedge were forged.
Right.
And that's the way they were manufactured. So we're starting to see multi materials during the course of a set. So instead of having an all forged set irons, now people are actually playing with a partially forged, partially cast set, which is very interesting. Never thought I'd see that one, but hey, this is a great head. This is the 850 in the ladies version. So if you'll notice on this one, it's just basically colored a little different, and it has a little different weight to the head for the ladies.
Is it lighter?
It's actually just a titch heavier.
Is it really?
Yep.
A titch?
Just a titch.
A little more probably in the sole.
Is that not as much as a tick?
That's right.
A titch is just shy of a tick.
Okay.
But gives them
just that
with
little
that wider sole, a little more in the bottom, help them get it in the air a little better and make it a little easier to hit.
Okay, now here's where everybody wants to wake up. This is the brand new JPX EZ. So this will be the first time a lot of people are getting a look at this club. But that's the bad boy right there. So it's just absolutely a gorgeous club. It's got some offset to it. It's got a nice top line to it. It has an undercut cavity. So this particular one here is thick-soled. It's designed to get the ball airborne. But this is the JPX EZ with the new graphics, new paint fill, and also a slightly different color that they've went with, more of a smoke chrome, which I really like.
Yeah, it's pretty club.
So anyway, there you guys go. I'll show that bad boy to you. Okay, then next up we have the JPX EZ Forged. This one right here is brand spanking new. Like I say, it's probably the first time you guys have had a chance to look on it. Maybe Golf WRX and a few other outlets have let this out. But this is the brand new one. And if you'll notice, just like we had talked on the other, the sole's a little thinner, top line's a little thinner, and the offset is reduced. So this is more of your mid to lower handicap iron. So there's that bad boy. And then they also offer a ladies version of it. There's not a lot of difference, just a little bit of difference in color right in the back of the cavity. That's about the only way you can tell the difference in the men's and the ladies version of the new JPX EZ. So
We're just over here.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, now
Entertaining ourselves.
so that's the JPX line in a nutshell right there for the year. And then also, they're carrying on with the JPX Fly High Hybrid, which we're using in a lot of cases in place of the long irons. It's 3, 4s, 5, 6s, and so on and so forth.
You still highly recommend that, don't you?
Yeah, especially in the 3s and the 4s for higher handicappers and even really good players actually. But you can just do more with them. They're so versatile versus just an iron.
Well, let me speak on behalf of the good players.
That's right. That's right. You can officially do that now.
Thusly,
Speaking on
you
behalf
are.
of the
No,
1.7s,
you said it.
boy.
I didn't. Heather, don't mark that down. I mean, if you're going to throw me in this briar patch, let's go ahead and play.
That's right.
I mean, when I made the adjustment to hybrids, I remember standing over 3 irons and 4 irons, Al. Wind's blowing in your face. You got to carry a
Is that what
pond
took
or
you to a 1.7 from
hey,
a 19?
this is mine. Hey, just
It's just because he had too much loft.
or as I said this weekend, my hands were too close to my wrist.
Yeah,
exactly.
got a bone
Thank
in
you.
your right leg.
There you go.
There you go.
So, I mean, it makes a world of difference in confidence level. I can't tell you the number of people that have walked in and said, "Oh, George, I can't hit hybrids. I need a 4-iron," and they're 70 years old.
Yep.
Oh, I got to have a 4-iron. Well, okay, let's take your 4-iron and go up there on the sim. Let me
yeah.
see you hit your 4-iron, and then, oh, by the way, here's a 4 hybrid. Let me see you hit that. And they're 25 yards longer.
There's
and they
no
go,
doubt.
well, I've never been able to, I couldn't hit this on the grass. Okay, let's walk outside and hit it on the grass.
Yeah.
People need to take that ego and check it at the door.
Exactly.
Definitely.
I mean, it's just, it
hit
boils
what
down
hit,
to that.
hit what works. You know what I mean? I mean, there's just no two ways around it.
I mean, you better dance with the one you brung with you to the dance, because if you're trying to look for something else, there ain't gonna be nothing there.
Well,
And if you do, you're
old
gonna play
people,
better.
That's a
people
fact.
have a harder time to hit clubs. I mean, I do it. It's age has gotten me. Age has gotten him.
Oh no.
Age has gotten him, and it's. I mean, here's a PGA professional. We've had a lot of. You and I have talked about this. We've had fun watching him go from old school. Oh, I got to hit this. Oh, I got to hit this. Oh, I got to hit this. Nothing else. And then you bring him into the new stuff, and he's going, well, holy crap.
Yeah. Yep.
Yep. I can swing at 80%, and I hit the ball farther with this. Yep. So our amateur listeners and viewers, wake up.
Definitely.
There is so much out there that technology could just vastly improve the way you feel about this game. Have more fun.
That's what it's all about.
No question about it.
All right.
Technology is just, it's changed golf. Utilize it. I mean, no offense. We go out and I got Daddy's driver and 4-wood, his power built sitting at the house. It's the prettiest things you ever seen, but there ain't no way I want to go out and try to play with them.
No.
I mean,
that's like,
that'd be like hitting a
guys
hybrid off the tee now,
It's got a lot of guys that's got a hot rod, it's built. You know, I mean, the thing's great to look at and great to take out on Sunday. You know, like in the older clubs, might be fun to take the driving range and hit. But if you're going to take a trip, you know, or somewhere it's reliable where you got to get there and back and you want air conditioning and good brakes and all that kind of stuff, you're going to drive a more modern car. And that's just a given.
Especially if you go to the buffet.
That's right. Well, I'm excited now because I want to talk about the MP line. The MP line is their players line.
Okay.
The JP.
What does MP stand for?
I don't have a clue, but I'll find out for you.
He started to say something. He just, I better just.
I was going to come up with something really good, and then I thought, no, I wasn't going to do that. So, but anyway, the MP15.
I bet it's Mizuno players.
Yeah, it's probably Mizuno players. Yeah. So.
I'm not going anywhere with this, okay? I'm just leaving it alone. Go ahead, Al.
He just
this is your program.
He likes asking me questions that just make me stutter
I'm
that I
keeping
don't
you on your
necessarily
toes.
know the answer to. But
That's
it's
okay.
all good.
It's all good. That's why I'm here, dude.
Well, so this is the MP15, and it's a tie muscle back. So it's a multi-material iron. It's got a pretty big sweet spot.
Turn it toward the camera there.
There we go. You notice we don't have a whole lot of offset on this iron. It's got kind of a thin top line.
Hold up the 850 right there in front of you, the forged, and compare it to that as far as offset. You talk about it doesn't have a whole lot of offset. That way the viewers can see what you're related to.
Yeah, and then when you get something that's got a lot of offset, I'm going to grab this one. There we go. Now they can really relate to the offset difference.
And the offset's there to help you get the ball up in the air. Is that right?
And to help square the face up.
And contact.
Yep. And to help square the face up. So the MP15 is just a great club. I like it a lot. It's just a classic looking golf club. So I'll pass that one on over.
And what is the tie insert doing at the back of it?
What it's doing is lowering the center of gravity of that head. Okay, so you've got a blade, but it has a lower center of gravity to it, so it actually launches the ball. So more than what a traditional blade would. They've hollowed out the back cavity of this particular golf club to make the top of it light. So their thought process in this head was weight in the bottom, low center of gravity.
Does it increase the MOI?
To a point, it depends upon the impact of the individual. But it's more of a center of gravity than an MOI feature.
Okay, all right. Thank you.
You're very, very welcome. Okay, now let's see here. We're looking at the MP85. Okay, this is actually they cut this. No, that's the MP5. Hold on one second. MP85. Here we go. This is a hybrid iron in a player series. So a lot of players are going with these in like the 4s and the 5s and the 6s. This one right here's got a little thicker sole to it, like we can show our viewers and listeners. This right here has a nice cavity back to it, kind of a V-back. But this particular club, if we was to take and cut it in two, this thing's hollow on the inside. Okay, so it's got a chamber inside there, so it's working like a hybrid. It has an ultra-thin face. So you're going to get some rebound effect off of this iron head.
You're getting some trampoline.
So this is the MP85, and it's just doesn't have a lot of offset. Just a great little golf club.
Is that forged like the tie muscle you just showed, or?
Yeah, this particular iron right here, the is forged.
Yeah. And this is likewise?
Yes, sir.
Okay, the H5. Okay.
Okay, and then now the MP25.
Boy, you definitely see that back muscle plate.
Oh yeah, but it's hollow. It's hollow in there. The reason they made that so large is to put a cavity back in there.
Okay.
So that's the technology behind that. Okay, now here's a brand spanking new one, which I love to any show somebody anything new. This is the new MP25. So they've put a lot of R&D into this particular head, and I think it's just absolutely gorgeous. I look forward to fitting with this head this year. It's a great head, has very little offset on it, has a nice top line to it, and it's a winner. So that's the MP25.
Now, would you put this in the better player bracket or mid? mid handicap and down.
Mid to better.
Mid to better.
Mid to better. Yep.
Much where I'm at now.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, you ain't heard the end of it. Oh, I'm on. Yeah.
Well, the way it runs, basically the 15 is probably one of the most forgiving, and then in the hybrid iron would be the H5, and then you'd go to the MP25, and then this one right here is a brand spanking new one, this is the new MP5, everybody. So anybody's not had a chance to look at this one yet, it's a sweet looking little golf club. This is a player's iron. This is for your single digit handicap. These are for ball strikers. If you're a high handicapper, don't frustrate yourself. Don't hit something like this. Get you something like this. Something that's nice, thick soled. It's got an undercut to it. This is game enhancement and user friendly. This right here is for tour players. They're wanting the feel. They're wanting feedback. They're wanting to work the ball. Okay, this guy right here just wants to hit it straight. So get the club that's right for you. So now I want to go ahead and show you guys the MP5.
Well put. Well done. Again, no new drivers, no new fairway woods. They came out last year.
Yeah, well, all I done today was just covering irons.
Okay.
So I didn't.
So I'll shut up.
Yeah. Oh no, you're fine. You're fine. Now what I'll do is I'll go through a couple more real quick. This is one of Mizuno's big strengths. It's called the DNA system. This thing has multiple sensors inside it, which tells how you load and unload the golf club, your tempo, your timing, your toe down, your kick release. It's an amazing little device. Once you have all these numbers, then you program them right straight into your phone or a tablet, whatever have you. And then what it does, the program goes in and tells what weight shaft you need, what flex shaft you need, what bend point shaft you need. It's really amazing technology. I've been using it for a couple years now, and it does not miss.
Right.
So this is the DNA stick, and then what I done was I just put a lie angle fitting head on there, just for grins. So, but this is an awesome tool. It takes a lot of guesswork out of shaft fitting by a long shot.
Now, with the lie angle face that you put on there, what are you doing for the player?
Yep. Once you determine the adequate length shaft that the particular player needs, then you want to determine the lie angle, how the club comes into contact with the ground. Mm-hmm. So what we do is we put an impact tape on the bottom of the golf club, and then we have them swing on a lie board, which is basically a Lexan board. So what they'll do is they'll come in and hit, and there's three scenarios. One is they'll come in, the toe will be heavy, which will actually cause the club to twist open. Two is they come in with the heel heavy, which actually causes it to hood shut. Three is perfect, when they come in and there's no heel drag, no toe drag, all the impact's in the center of the club, and then the club's not hood and shut or hood and open, it's staying square, which is what we want. So that's your deal with lie angle.
Al, clear this up for me. I have this conversation a couple times a week. Set your club back up on your hand.
Sure.
If I'm a low hands type of player.
Yes.
Okay, pick it up a little bit.
Yep.
Jeff can't see it in the camera. Okay, if I'm a low hands, I've got that heel contacting the ground and the toe up in the air.
That's correct. This is how I've got right here.
But okay, if I was to just simply look at that player with that condition right there, okay, I would be wanting to get that head down so that toe gets closer to the ground.
That's correct.
But
yep.
let me finish.
Yep.
Okay. That's just at my address point.
That's
but
correct.
When I actually swing the club, when this player actually comes through the ball, he actually raises his sternum, which raises his hands, and centers back out the club head to the point where almost the toe hits first.
Yep. Probably swinging a little outside the end too, if I had to bet.
Yep. So what am I going to? I'm paying more attention to his impact point.
Oh, yes.
And not his setup.
Correct. 100%. It doesn't matter. Setup, it doesn't really, to a point, amount to a hill of beans. Impact. That's where it's at.
So people come and say, Al, look, I set up to the ball and look how far my toe's sticking up in the air. I need to flatten this out a little bit.
Right. I'll say, let's go inside for a couple minutes in my studio, and let's hit a few balls on the live board to see what you really need.
There you go.
Yes, sir.
There you go. Okay. All right. That explains it.
So that's so lie angle's big. Once you get the right shaft, you get the right lie angle, you get the right grip size and material for that particular individual. And then what I've done real quick is I brought a few of the shaft options that Mizuno's offering this year. So one is this is the KPS Seat Taper, which is just an awesome shaft. We've had nothing but good luck with it.
Now, is that a steel shaft or a graphite shaft?
That's a steel shaft. It's an alloy shaft, and it's in the new world of steel. It's not produced like your traditional steel shafts, which basically they have a metal plate sort of yay long with a traditional steel shaft, and then it's laid out. A stamping machine comes in and stamps that shaft. Then it's rolled and then welded like your dynamic golds. That's how all dynamic golds are made. Well, with these shafts right here, the designing process is a lot different. It's actually made from one solid piece of material, and then they mill away the excess and then reuse that again. But it's a completely different process of shaft manufacturing on the new KPS.
It's much like the rifle shafts with no steps in it.
That's it.
Does that eliminate the spline?
No. Believe it or not, you can still find a spline. But it's not as crucial.
Not as prevalent as it is with
not
a
as
welded
prevalent.
shaft?
Yeah, it can take a long time.
Yeah.
And this is the shaft. I mean, I use the Seat Taper.
Yep.
And I use it simply because it's the closest thing I've found to what my titanium shafts felt like.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, these shafts give you such a good feel in the tip when you make contact at impact.
Mm-hmm.
You actually can feel the head kick, even though it's not floppy and too weak. And you have some feedback.
But Al, I mean, we're talking professional here versus is a 20 handicapper going to hit this?
Well, what we have they have another shaft that they offer for a slightly higher handicappers, which is a little lighter weight and has a little more flex to it.
Mm-hmm.
So they offer that in both directions. And to kind of get back to what Jeff was talking about earlier with the rifle shaft, KBS stands for Cam Braley Shafts. Cam Braley is a gentleman with him and his father that actually designed the original rifle shaft. And then Cam Braley is the one who designed the Project X shaft. Okay? So True Temper bought Project X company to bury that shaft. It was so popular that they ended up remaking it, but they didn't make it the same. So Kim wanted that shaft back out on the market, so he went with KBS. He started his own company, and henceforth, this is what we have.
This is what developed.
This is what developed.
So basically, it's back to the original rifle shaft.
It's back
that
to,
was put out.
It's back to the original Project X.
Project
and
X.
See, they originally, the Brailleys started precision golf shafts.
Precision.
You remember the
Yep.
5.5,
Precision FM.
5.6, 7s.
Which is still
6.
there. We have
Yep.
5.0s, 5.5s, 6.0s.
Yeah.
They
But I mean,
invented the frequency machine.
Yeah, that's where it came from.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And this is
Now,
this is a very good shaft.
Real quick, Al, if you would educate all of us. That's a 105 gram shaft.
That's correct.
Okay, for the 5'10" male, 65 years old, should he not be looking down at more of an 80 gram shaft, maybe?
Yeah, that's why I love using the DNA system, because you can't judge a book by its cover in this golf business. And you can look at somebody and say, oh, well, he probably don't need that. Well, all of a sudden, man, this cat's got cranking more clubhead speed than what you expected.
Right.
So, it may be that the 105 is perfect for him.
Okay.
But then again, and just like you said, it could very well be that he would benefit from a 95 gram shaft as well. So,
right. In that style of shaft, is our female listeners and viewers going to be looking for a KPS Seat Taper?
Only players, and I don't mean that in a bad way, but only female players that are generating clubhead speeds of a man, and that is strong, and an aggressive,
Okay.
or not necessarily aggressive, but a stronger female player. Like a lot of these young college girls, will fit into KBS Seat Tapers.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of time it's a Seat Taper light.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's just a little bit lighter for the ladies.
Now, for the irons, Mizuno irons, have they stuck with the Orochi graphite? Or?
Yes, they sure did, and I brought that in for you to have a look at.
Okay.
This is the Orochi. They may have them in different flexes. They're 90 grams, and they do a tour spec Orochi, and then they do a non-tour spec Orochi. So the tour spec Orochi is a little heavier. and it's the torque ratio is a little tighter. Where the non-tour Orochi's got a slightly higher torque rate and is a little bit lighter.
Okay.
So that's that bad boy. That's
All right.
that's the Orochi. And then this here, this is the Orochi for the ladies. Notice this one's 50 grams, and that one's 90 grams. So there's a tremendous amount of weight difference. And then then they have stuff in the middle in the 75 gram range, in the original Orochi, not the tour Orochi. So there's a lot of shafts, and all these are made by Fujikura, and they're one of my favorite shaft manufacturers.
Okay. All right.
So
Pretty amazing what graphite is getting to, Al, in the
really
marketplace.
is. Yeah.
I'm watching the new drivers come out, such as like Callaway, for example, with the Great Big Bertha, and they're sending along with the demos, we are getting in the Kurokage 50-gram stiff to X.
That's amazing.
50 grams.
Yep, 50 grams.
And then we get in the Becerra 42-gram driver shaft.
That's correct.
42 grams. And how they actually maintain their flex and their torque and all that during the swing, it amazes me.
Yeah, it sure does.
Amazes me. So technology has just, and it continue. I mean, are we going to see in the future a 20-gram shaft?
I don't think it'll get that light. I
No.
don't see no way they can do
No.
that. But what I have here is I've got two more KBSs. These are called the KBS Tours. These are a step shaft. And then these are also available in different weights and different flexes.
Hold those up again if you don't mind.
Sure.
And of course, you'll be able to recognize the steps versus no steps, like are in the CVS and the KBS Tours.
Yep.
So, okay.
Okay, and the difference, like I say, in the tour shafts available in different weights and in different flexes. Like the 90 gram is a regular, and the stiff's a 120. So the weight correlates with the flex, which is one neat thing with the KBS tour shafts that they do. That's just a little different than what some of the other manufacturers do.
In your professional opinion, is there differences actually with the stepped steel shafts between you look at Speed Step, Dynamic Gold, KBS, John Q. Consumer comes in and they see these three different steel shafts.
Right.
They don't know if there's a radical difference between them or if there's no difference or it's just a different label. Hell, they could be made by the same people.
Yep.
And just a different label put on them.
Well, the deal with that is the step pattern determines how that shaft loads and unloads. It's where they orientate the material in the shaft.
Right. You've gone through that and talked about loading and off, unloading and things like that and the different.
Yep. And with the shaft that you don't see any steps, the material is inside the shaft in different diameters in different places inside the shaft. So like on this shaft right here,
Easy now,
yep,
kid.
there you go.
Boing.
Yeah, bigger. There you go. So on this shaft, you see all this stuff going on right here on the shaft. The Seat Taper has the same thing going on. It's just inside the shaft and you can't see it.
Ah, so they cosmetically hit it.
They cosmetically hit it. That's correct.
Okay.
So it's it may be different.
So there are steps there in that KBS Tour, but they're inside and not outside.
They are steps, but they're not near as progressive as these, and they're not near as severe.
Okay.
It's just more of a weight differential and a wall thickness difference.
Oh,
than the actual pure steps. But the best way to describe it to everybody is that there is a version of steps inside these steel shafts. It's just, but it's done with weight proportioning and material and wall thickness.
I referred a gentleman yesterday. I was doing a fitting out, and he was questioning his heads, then his irons, and he needed graphite shafts. Okay, with his swing speed, it's declined. His back has gotten bad through the years, whatever. And he was asking if graphite shafts could be put in particular heads. So let's say that I had Speed Step steels in a Mizuno 850. Can I just take a graphite shaft from off the internet and put it into that head?
Well, there's a couple things about Mizunos. Is most Mizunos are taper tips, so you've got to find a taper tip graphite shaft.
And that's what I went on to try to explain to him.
Yep.
It was entertaining.
And then also
taper tip versus parallel tip.
Yep, taper tip versus parallel. But now a good club maker can take a parallel shaft and turn it into a taper tip.
Yeah, but that's
a
I remember
refined
your
art.
cautionary.
Yeah, it's very, very you got to know exactly what you're doing. But it's one of those things to where it's a learning. You're constantly learning with this, and it's just never ending.
Mm-hmm.
But now the thing about it is, if you're going to use graphite, two things have got to happen, basically, in a nutshell. One is if you're going to keep them the same length that they're at right now, you're going to need a graphite shaft that weighs as much as the steel shaft you're taking out. Okay?
All right.
Now, most people that go with graphite usually end up building them about a half an inch longer than a steel shaft. And the reason being is because the shaft's lighter. You have to do that in order to maintain a decent swing weight.
Okay.
So you can put a graphite shaft in any club. The question is, how's it going to perform, and is it put in there and prepared correctly for that application?
Right. Well, you know that I send my people to you.
Yes, sir, and I appreciate it.
We just recently did a set of recoils for an individual who was in his mid-70s.
Yep.
And originally hitting, I think, steels, if I'm
yeah.
not mistaken, when he brought
No,
the clubs to you.
Actually, he had a different manufacturer of graphite.
Oh, he
just
did?
was not
Okay.
happy with
Okay.
that particular manufacturer,
Yeah.
and he wanted to go to UST.
Yeah.
Because he had hit the Callaways with the USTs, and he liked that.
Yeah.
And he liked it better than what he was hitting.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and then, like we were talking earlier, this is the Project X shaft that Kim Braley and his father originally designed, and this is like the old rifle shafts back in the day. Is what that bad boy is. So
Okay.
that's the deal with that one. And then I'll walk you through a couple more. Let's see here. This is the XP line by True Temper. I've got it right here, a XP 95, a XP 105, and a XP 115. So these shafts right here are available in different weights, different flexes, different bend point characteristics. So this is a kind of a new offer. They had a couple of the XPs in last year, and now they're offering some different weights in the XPs.
Right.
So that's the XP right there. Okay, and then this is the crowd pleaser. This has been more tournaments won on. There's been more tournaments won with this shaft than any other shaft in golf. It's only because it's been around longer than any other shaft in golf, but it's the Dynamic Gold, which has been hailed for years as the go-to shaft on tour. Until the past 2 or 3 years, when the Seat Tapers and the steel fibers and some other stuff has came out. But for years, this is what went in pretty much every tour players club in the bag.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you think about that?
You got the R series and the S series and the X. And
oh yeah, R300, S300.
X1s.
X1s. That's what that is. There's a X1.
Mm-hmm. Which he needs now, the SS minnow.
That's right.
He needs the super senior.
And then here's just a couple KB. They also offer Nippon steel through Mizuno, and I brought in 2 Nippon shafts. One's 1150, and the other's a 950 HG. Both of them have slightly different characteristics, but these shafts are made in Japan, and they're known as what we call a spring steel. They use a slightly different steel over there than what we use in our shafts here. But these are available through Mizuno as a couple options.
Is that going to be an upgrade charge?
For a while, Mizuno had no upgrade charge for any shaft.
Mm-hmm.
I do not know if they're going to currently run that program this year or not.
Right.
That I'm not 100% sure of.
Now, Nippon is kind of known in the tour realm as kind of the shaft of choice. You won't see the label on a lot of these players' shafts, but when you actually break it down, they're probably playing that type of steel.
Especially in their wedges.
Uh-huh.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So I didn't. Do you feel a difference with a Nippon shaft like that versus Dynamic Gold?
Yes, Dynamic Gold is a much harsher feeling shaft, even especially in your wedges.
Oh, definitely.
I played regular shafts in my wedges just because of the feel they had around the greens as far as your touch and whatnot. And that's what a lot of guys have done, and that's why they've gone with Nippon because, like Al said, the difference in the steel, the makeup of it, the wall thickness, and then the fact that their tip gets a little bit weaker.
That's
And
correct.
So for in the wedges, it's phenomenal.
Yeah, they're basically
Interesting.
designed to work like a spring. It's a spring steel.
Okay.
So it's
It gives you that, like they said, the titanium feel where you can feel the head actually kick.
Do they run price-wise a little bit more than the
Oh, yeah.
standard steel?
Yeah.
Okay,
They do.
all right.
They do.
So-
usually you'll find anything that's coming out of Japan and it's a premium product, you're going to pay for it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like Miura.
And
yeah.
honestly, they've done such a good job at producing, basically, with their research and handmade stuff that
Right.
you're going to pay for. You're paying for what you're getting, and that's probably the best there is.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, they've come out with some fantastic products over there as far as their irons, wedges, and
Yeah.
so on and so forth.
Right.
And you'll see a lot of their shafts like in your 14 clubs, in your Miura clubs. These shafts find their way into high-end forged iron sets.
Right. Right.
So-
Okay, super dude.
Man,
Very informative.
I've had a blast. I just want to, just thank everybody for giving us the opportunity to be here and to show you guys this new stuff. I always get pumped up when new stuff comes in. It's like Christmas. So I was just glad I could share it with you.
Thank
I was
you,
very
bud.
glad I could share it.
Always informative.
Thank you, sir.
You amaze me. TGD Radio and TV are produced and broadcast by the Zeus Radio Network for thegolfdirector.com.
When visiting the Golf Director, be sure to check our featured golf course pages, where you'll find up-to-date information about course conditions, specials, and much more.
Need help with your next golf vacation?
Just
Just
call
call
Dave.
Dave.
Give us a call right here at 844-GO-GOLF1, 844-464-6531.
All of our TGD dude, I'm worried about getting to the bottom. You go.
All of our programming is archived for listening and viewing on demand. Catch up on any show you may have missed. You can click on the TGD Radio or the TGD TV tabs in the menu screen at thegolfdirector.com. We're now available on over 1 billion devices at iTunes, Audio Realm, TuneIn, YouTube, Ustream, Roku, Periscope, Catch.me,
See that guy? That's what I scared.
Blueberry, and Myrtle Beach Golf app. For Al Cloyd, Hugh Roy III, I'm George Honeycutt. We want to thank Al for another informative tech talk right here on TGD today. And we want to thank Jeff behind the glass. And we most importantly want to thank you for tuning in and viewing with us today. There's a lot more golf news and information coming up next, so don't go anywhere.